So I'd like to call the meeting to order. Katie, you're putting up, there we go. Okay. Sorry, all, you're bearing with me on my phone here tonight, so I apologize. Okay. So,
Susan, before we did we call it to order? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just about to call it to order. So yes, we're good.
I just wanted to, before we got started with the two business items this evening, just wanted to make a quick comment on the next steps in communication around the Simsbury reopening kind of blueprint and plan that we've been working through as a district. So we are prepared to send out tomorrow to the community, to the staff and the community at large, the public document, which is essentially an expanded version of what the presentation was to the Board of Education last Tuesday, and an expanded version of what went into the state of Connecticut. So that will go out tomorrow. I sent that to the board this evening and the administrative council as well to get a look at the format. Also just wanted to bring to light what many people know, which was Governor Lamont's press conference yesterday, where he really changed his stance in how he has communicated with districts and superintendents and the public, and talked about providing more flexibility in decision-making relative to the hybrid models to districts. So the message was a bit unclear in the press conference. There's a bit of confusion relative to what he means by that flexibility. So currently we're seeking a bit more clarification on that front. So know that we're having communication and conversations as a superintendent's group. I know CABE, the Board of Education group, is doing the same. So we will look into that over the course of the next couple days and how that may impact our ability to discuss further that hybrid model as a school district. But what I wanted to let people know on the board and that may be listening at home, after that communication tomorrow, the following communication will be from principals at each of the levels. And those principals are going to be providing more specifics on two things. The distance learning option that will be available to families should they make the decision not to return to school, and the hybrid model, providing a little more detail as to what the structures are, what some of the factual information is in the development of that, should we be allowed and move in a direction where we can utilize that hybrid model potentially as a transitionary model in bringing our students back up to scale into the fall. So we are also going to try the best we can to stay true to the timeline and survey our families on Monday, but we may need to know a little more specifics of where we stand relative to the governor's position and the commissioner's position on that. So I will absolutely keep people informed. We appreciate the continued patience and partnership as we move this major situation through. Thank you, Susan.
Right. Yep, thank you. Thanks for the update, and we hope everybody will continue to read everything that we send out and check back with us often and tune in for our board meetings, because that's where you're going to get your most relevant information. Yep. So with that, I believe we have a little bit of an abridged agenda tonight, so we're going to skip board and administrative communications. And are we moving right on to our first agenda item?
We are, yes, which is appointment of Simsbury High School assistant principal. So I'm going to ask that Neil talk through briefly the process. We just had an opportunity to interview our candidate, Vanessa Messiah, in an executive session. So Neil, I'm going to turn this over to you, and we'll go through the process a little bit. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm thrilled to be bringing final candidate to the board tonight after a search that we've talked a lot about. The original plan was to be out in the spring after the appointment of Mr. Petrina to the principal's role, to be out searching for an assistant principal. That's a typical timeline. But as this board knows, COVID changed everything. And I think we made the right strategic decision to pause the process for a few months, deal with everything that we were dealing with in terms of the school closure, and then revisit it here as we got into June and sort of reopen the pool to candidates. At the end of the day, the board should be pleased that we received over 135 applications for this job. So sometimes that's a little breathtaking when you are the successful candidate out of a pool that large. In terms of the process, we selected 13 candidates for interview. That alone was a challenging task given the depth of the pool, but we conducted virtual Zoom interviews of those 13 candidates. Mr. Petrina, Aaron Murray, Sue Lemke, Campera, and I all participated in that round. And we selected 4 candidates to bring in. And we did our first in-person interviewing in quite a few months. This position was important enough that we felt the final candidates needed to come meet our group, our stakeholder groups. So not only did we put them through one interview on July 16th, we actually put them through 2 in 2 different portions of the Simsbury High School Media Center, where we socially distanced ourselves and brought candidates in. I want you to know that in addition to the administrators, we had several teachers who participated, a school counselor who participated, another department supervisor, a parent representative, and most importantly, a student representative who did a great job helping us sort through things. So it was a wonderful process, and our final candidate, Vanessa Messiah, moved forward in that process and had one more finalist interview with just Steve Petrina and Matt Curtis on July 17th. And at that point, the recommendation was to bring her forward to the board. I am impressed by Vanessa's incredible energy that she brings into an interview room. She has wonderful passion for education, for her connections with her students. She is clearly very knowledgeable and has done a lot of work in terms of coaching teachers in a really supportive way. When I did her reference checks, the folks at Achievement First couldn't say enough about the power that she brings to her role in terms of inspiring people. So I think it's a really exciting hire. I know the board has Vanessa's background on the exhibit, but just for the sake of the public, I want them to know that her most recent work has been at Achievement First Hartford High School, where she served as Dean of School Culture and as a Dean of Students. She also previously worked as a Dean of Students at the Metropolitan Learning Center in Bloomfield. And before becoming a school leader as a Dean of Students, she was a social studies teacher for several years in Bridgeport, and then for 1 year at a different CREC school. Her background as a student is as a history major with graduating from Central Connecticut, and then a master's in curriculum and instruction from Central Connecticut. So most well-qualified candidate. We are thrilled to bring her forward tonight. And always the most important voice in searching for an assistant principal is the principal. So I'm going to turn this for a couple of seconds over to Mr. Petrina so he can talk a little bit about his participation.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Appreciated everybody's help in this process. It truly was a difficult one with so many qualified candidates. But with that said, every step of the way, we couldn't be more impressed with Vanessa and her answers and her vitality and what she brings to our team. We think is going to be a great match, not only a great match for our team, but a great match for the school and for the community. So we're beyond excited to get going. And our only regret is she has to walk in during this time period. So there'll be a true baptism by fire as we navigate the waters here over the next few weeks. But we welcome her, and we're truly excited to have her, and we're thrilled to be a team again, a full team. In that meantime, I can't thank my compatriots enough. I believe Mr. Perry and Ms. Robert are on board here tonight, and you know, we've been doing work of four with three for quite some time. So we're really I'm really so pleased with their work and their efforts, and now adding Vanessa will just be something really special, we believe. So thank you, and we're looking forward to it.
Great, thanks, Steve. So with that, I think I'd like to get a motion from the board on the appointment of Vanessa.
I can do it. Move that the Board of Education appoint Vanessa Messiah to the position of Simsbury High School Assistant Principal effective at an exact date to be determined in August of 2020.
I'll second.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Welcome, Vanessa. We're so happy to have you join the Simsbury family, and want to give you a few minutes if you want to say something to everyone.
Thank you all so much. I just want to take a moment to recognize all of you for your amazing questions and just openness throughout this whole process. I am so excited to be joining Simsbury High School to meet the students, parents, families, and staff. And I just can't wait to get things going. So thank you all. I appreciate all of your time. And I look forward to getting to meet everyone in person very, very soon.
Great.
Great, thank you. Welcome aboard. Congratulations.
Welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you all.
Congratulations.
All right. So I'm flying a little blind here. I don't have my agenda in front of me. So I will take any help from someone as to our next item, please.
We have a acceptance of a gift from Central School PTO that Erin is going to talk through a little bit of the background on.
Thank you.
So yes, we have a very generous gift from Central School PTO, and any amount over the $1,500 obviously comes forward to the Board of Education. But I do want to tell you a little bit behind this is that the committee has been working collectively and collaboratively around making decisions on donating their money. And they want to support Central School during this time and agreed that a donation of $10,000 would be what they would put forward. With this, they want to be able to support students, although they were very appreciative of the online reading resources that were made available to students. They would like this money to be put towards more books for children, for classroom libraries, so that it will reduce or eliminate some of that screen time for children. In addition, they'd like some of the monies that will support resources for outside recess so that they can maintain the courts outside at recess and limit the sharing of recess equipment. This, as I said, is extremely generous of Central School PTO, and their thoughts and thinking behind it is quite reflective and really in the best interest of students. So I put forward this gift to the board for your acceptance.
I move that the proposed gift of $10,000 from the Central School PTO be approved.
Second, please.
Second. I'll second.
Any discussion?
Those
Here
are two
none.
those are
Thank
very
you.
important things.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, lots
Yes.
of thank yous, always.
Yes.
Always. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Motion carries with our great thanks to the Central School PTO. Our PTOs have been such a backbone for us in supporting all the work we try to do. So we very much appreciate their generosity.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Curtis, where am I?
I will help you out here. So our next board meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, August 11th. That is a meeting we will need to reschedule because there are multiple conflicts with the board. So we'll be reaching out in short order about that. in trying to time that up, obviously, with more information relative to the school opening report. I would suggest, and you can provide me feedback with it later, that is a meeting we have in person. We have it at Henry James Middle School in the Media Center, where we have the ability to spread out, socially distance in that environment. We've held several meetings there recently and have been successful with it. So I'm open to conversation on that, but I think it would lead to a robust conversation in that last meeting around school opening that will be important.
Do we have the ability to live stream from Henry James?
We can work with SCTV on that. Katie and I will reach out and make sure that if we use that venue, we're able to do that. That will be important as well.
Yeah, I think that's very important.
Yeah.
And we can certainly take the pulse of everybody offline about how they feel about that. But I do agree that would be a great conversation to have in person. The Tuesday, the 11th is primary day, which
Right.
just to add to the crazy. So I think it's a great thing that we shift that meeting off that date. It will be helpful all the way around. So thank you for your patience, and Katie will reach out with dates for all of us to try to field and figure out where we move that to. All right.
Very good.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
And a second, please.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Welcome, Vanessa. Thanks so much for joining us, and see y'all soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye all.